Hello everybody, welcome to the second semifinal of the second season of Regional King. This is Galar versus Kalos. As we just saw in the previous installment, Hisui is the other team that is going on to the championship. And this match will let us know who is going on to the next round in this best of three. As we see, Galar's lead is none other than the Galarian Slowpoke and the Grimmsnarl, and Kalos's lead, I can't English, Kalos's lead is Klefki and Malamor. I love the nickname of this Malamor as it is reversed, going on with a good theme. We saw both of these teams are very balanced. Kalos has surprisingly a lot of firepower, which we did not expect going into this season. This is the Cinderella run. As we see, the quick draw from this Galarian Slowpoke is going to go out. It's still going to be slower than the priority of Prankster, but, actually just fake out in general. But Knockoff goes into, oh my gosh, into the Galarian Slowpoke, taking off the Quick Claw and doing massive damage as the flinch happens. That was an interesting force turn. Good force turn on Galar's side of the field, as far as limiting the potential of setup that this Klefki can do to help support its team, delaying potential future of what it can do. And also, heck, Kalos got good damage and the utility of the Quick Claw being off, even though there was still the chance of priority with its ability of Quick Draw. We see the switch into Rillaboom comes out onto the field for Galar's side, as a Reflect is going to come out. It's going to raise the physical defense of Galar's side of the field, as this Rillaboom is not going to take a lot of damage. Malamor is going to be able to increase its attack and defense further because of its wonderful ability of, oh my gosh, Contrary. Trick Room goes out. It is now reversed speed order. Now here's the thing, this Rillaboom can bypass that with Grassy Glide on Grassy Surge. Grassy Glide is priority on Grassy Surge. So, Grassy Surge, yes, that is correct. It is priority. I'm going brain dead. And it appears that so is the pilot for this Kalos squad, realizing that they might have messed up here. Let's see how this turn order shall be affected. With all the priority users on the field, it probably won't be too crazy protected or too crazy different, as this Rillaboom is going to Terra Grass to further its damage output. Reflect is going to come out with the Klefki to make physical moves do less damage. This might be a slow match as both sides have Reflect up. Minimal damage goes into that slot, and minimal damage goes into the slot again of the Malamor. Despite being doubled into, it survives because of the Super Barrel boosts on top of the Reflect. This Malamor is surprisingly tanky. It takes hits on the physical side really, really well. Will this Galar side of the field be able to navigate? Now, I will note that this Malamor does not have a lot of HP left. It looks like it can really take one more attack, two really, but it's gonna be able to take two more attacks actually. One of those it will survive, so it might be able to get off a move here. As it appears, its pilot is still forgetting its item 2 turns in a row. What a blunder. Grassy Glide is going to come out, priority and boosted, as we saw the previous time around, and as I predicted, it still lived. No crit was to be had. Spirit Break is going to go into the Malamor slot. It appears that the turn order, which I should have pointed out, was actually not affected well on the Kalos side of the field. That Trick Room did not aid the Kalos side of the field whatsoever. As this Sylveon is going to come out, we have seen this Sylveon paired next to this Klefki this entire tournament. Together, they can output atomic levels of damage. Klefki supports this Sylveon very, very well. Sylveon, with its Pixelate ability, on top of Stab, on top of Terrestrialization, on top of the Throat Spray, and on top of the support from this... Oh no! We have a communication error! The first in Regional King history! We're just gonna probably have to throw this game out. Oh no, this is upsetting. We didn't get to see what was fixing to happen. Oh no. From my perspective, I feel like Galar was in the lead, but we were also fixing to get massive damage out of Sylveon. And it was going to be on the special side, which they seem to be susceptible to. So we really truly do not know how that match would have portrayed out. I'm getting a note from our league organizers that we're just gonna throw the results of that match out, act as if it didn't happen, and we were told that they must start this match anew, and it does not matter the board state, I think. This is the intel that I am getting. Oh my gosh, we see the same lead from the Kalos side, but we see a switched up lead from Galar. We see none other than Duraludon, who is quite bulky thanks to its evolution it got in Generation 9, being able to give it access to Eviolite. It was already a good Pokemon before, but it is so much better. A base stat total 500 Mon getting access to Eviolite can always be dangerous. As that Duraludon is going to protect, the Klefki is going to protect against special moves, or at least get its, special defense up, as the Reflect is going to raise the physical defense of the Galar side of the field, as the Malamar hits into the protected slot of the Duraludon, not being able to get its contrary boost. As we know, this Malamar set, from what we can see, it can really snowball into something that can get out of hand very quick if you cannot immediately hit it on the special side. It can turn into a dangerous factor real quick. As we go ahead and see a switch into the Galarian Slowbro, taking very little chip damage, and surprisingly Grimmsnarl taking a lot of damage. As we see, it was a critical hit. It was revealed. This Galarian Slowbro is not going to take much damage from that superpower, but we are going to see the physical attack and physical defense raise of this Malamar, as it's going to be able to take that super effective hit. And it got the special attack boost due to Contrary on the Spirit Break. What a wonderful sight to see. It won't utilize such, but it is pretty cool to see. And we do see that there was an item switch on this Malamar in between sets. As we see, it is not locked in with... Oh, wait, no. There wasn't an item switch. It was just not necessarily an item switch. It could still totally be... It was trying to use Protect the last time around. I forgot. Clearly, so as the pilot did. As Knockoff is going to go into the Galarian Slowbro, taking it out. A super effective hit. And also, for extra salt, knocking the Quick Claw onto the ground. This Malamar is saying, "Not in my house!" As Rillaboom is going to come out, setting up the Grassy Surge Field effect, boosting Grass type's power by a little bit, healing all grounded Pokemon, and also granting access to Grassy Glide to make it a priority move. This Rillaboom is a meta threat in most metas that it is available for, and it is showing thus far in this tournament that it is definitely a meta threat. As Fake Out is going to go into the Malamar slot, preventing the Fatal Snowball, as Spirit Break is going to go into the Malamar slot and take it out! That is unfortunate for the Kalos squad. Trick Room is going to come out. It appears that Gummy did not pay attention to the last match. This Trick Room did not aid him in the last match. And from my perspective, based off of my knowledge of base speed totals, I don't think it's going to help him in this match either. As I believe Sylveon is around the same speed as this Rillaboom, but Rillaboom is just going to be clicking a priority Grassy Glide every single turn anyway, so it does not matter. As Banshee, the Grimmsnarl, is removed, he's going to try to preserve the future use of it going forward. As the Kalos side of the field is going to Terrasilize, obviously into Fairy type. This Sylveon is going to be able to do atomic levels of damage. Between being a Fairy type with Pixelite, making its normal type moves, now stab Fairy type moves, plus a 20% bonus, and it's going to get the Terra Fairy bonus furthering on top of that, and a Throat Spray on top of that. As this Rillaboom is also going to increase its damage output. Reflect is going to come out, raising the physical defense on the Kalos side of the field. Grassy Glide is going to come out into probably the Sylveon slot. Into the Sylveon slot it goes and does almost half damage. All things considered, that is a lot. Hyper Voice is going to go out and do decent chip, but not quite enough to be absolutely dangerous. But its special attack is going to be boosted. So the next time, if it is able to get off Hyper Voice again, it will do more damage. I don't think it'll be enough to clear, but it will be enough to really get considerable damage. Maybe this Klefki can finish off the field with its Dazzling Gleam attack. But as we see, this Kalos side of the field is probably trying to make some decisions of what to do here. Both of these squads are very balanced in different ways. Galar is very balanced in it doesn't have the highest power output, but it can do great damage, but it also supports itself well, and these mons do not go down easily. Whereas Kalos' side of the field can synergize well to do crazy atomic levels of damage. I feel like I'm saying that word way too many times. As we see, Klefki is going to remove itself to preserve itself from the future. The Gudra is going to come out. Shout out to Scraw VGC. Grassy Glide is going to go into the Sylveon slot, not doing quite enough to take it out. Moonblast is going to come out into the Dualodon slot and not do enough to take it out, as lowering its special attack, that might help this Sylveon survive, but it doesn't! It is still able to take out Sylveon! Down goes Kitlor! Oh, that is such a devastating blow for this Kalos squad. Such a devastating blow. Clearly he wanted to try to take out that Dualodon because the Dualodon is a threat to Gudra. He knew that Sylveon was not going to survive much longer. And he also knew that realistically this Rillaboom cannot do much to this Gudra. Sludge Bomb is going to go into the Rillaboom slot and not do a lot of damage. Dazzling Gleam is going to come out from the Klefki, finally getting use of the Trick Room, as not a lot of damage is coming out on both sides of the field. Lots of super effective hits are landing, but not a lot of damage is becoming from the result of it, as both sides of the field are so bulky with reflects up and everything. but eventually this damage is going to have to snowball. Right now, Galar is more damaged as far as what is currently out on the field, but they still have another Mon in the back, whereas Kalos has only these 2 Mons. Will Kalos be able to survive this match? It does not look like it. It does appear that Galar has a bit of the advantage with the Grimmsnarl in the back, as we're going to see a Protect come out of this Duraludon. No Urshifu's in sight during this format, so it can freely click that move. A Sludge Bomb is going to go out into the Duraludon spot. Maybe he is hoping that a Poison will proc, putting this Rillaboom on a timer, but it hasn't happened thus far, as a super effective hit of high horsepower is going to hit into the Klefki, but still not enough to take it out. But it looks like this Klefki is going to die right before it can reset up screens, or maybe I'm totally incorrect. I should shut up, because clearly it is going to be able to get something off, but it won't be able to get both off. It will not survive. So he has to choose between none other than Reflect or Trick Room. Does he care about outspeeding, or does he care about survivability? High horsepower is going to come out, and it's going to take out the Klefki. Klefki is no more, as this Goodra stands alone to dodge the Draco Meteor. Sludge Bomb is going to come out and do more than decent damage into the Rillaboom, but probably not enough damage, as we know they're all Dragon-type moves that can now hit this Goodra if it connects, while it's still going to take chip damage from Rillaboom, and we know that we have Grimmsnarl in the back that is also going to be able to hit it with Fairy-type moves, as this Goodra is going to heal up a little bit more from its Citrus Berry. With the onslaught of damage that's going to be coming its way, I do not believe it will be able to survive, as it is able to successfully knock out this Rillaboom. The Grimmsnarl is going to come out. Galar side of the field is going to consistently hit it with super effective damage. As this light screen goes off, this Goodra does not seem like it's going to be able to survive the future onslaught. Fake Out is going to come out from the Grimmsnarl, preventing moving from this Goodra, but it might not matter. It will matter! It will matter as it survives, but it cannot do any damage. We know that this Duraludon is going to be doing less damage this next turn, but Goodra needed to get off damage that exact turn. It lives on 3, but Spirit Break is going to come out of the Grimmsnarl slot. Oh my gosh, this Goodra has gone down. In previous matches during this tournament, this Goodra has had a lot of staying power, but in this particular match, it wasn't able to stay out long enough, even though it did stay out for a considerable amount of time. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next match. Galar has 1 victory. All they need is 1 more to be able to move on to the championship. Or will Kalos be able to force a Game 3? As we see a different start-up from both of these compared to the previous match. We are seeing high damage output from the Kalos side of the field that we have seen this entire tournament, showing off the true capabilities of Sylveon and none other than Klefki. As we see, Dragapult is on the other side of the field, not being able to threaten with Dragon-type moves in this exact moment. But we see the Galarian Weezing coming out to turn off abilities, so the Sylveon will not be able to get a Pixelate boost. And not only not be able to get Pixelate boost, but its attacks are now going to be normal type. They are not going to be able to affect this Dragapult. That was a very clutch decision by the Galar squad. Props to Platinum. That was such a good pull to be able to counter this Sylveon that we know can wreck through this tournament. I wonder if in this moment the pilot, being Gummy, of this Kalos squad realizes that its normal type moves will not be fairy type. We see the Kalos squad is trying to make a decision of what to do here. We do know that Horn Order has been reversed, so we also know that as fast as this Dragapult is, one of the fastest, if not the fastest, it is the fastest in this metagame, it will go last now. Hyper Voice is going to go into the Galarian Weezing slot as Heat Wave is going to come out to do some extra chip and get a Born on the Sylveon to put it on a timer. Reflect is going to come out, minimizing the damage from physical type moves to help against this Dragapult. That did massive damage. All things considered, Dragapult is very powerful. They needed that to go off. The Reflect to be able to survive that. Realistically speaking here, this Sylveon is really only going to be able to get one more attack out. Now this attack does have potential to do massive damage. Not as much damage as it could because of this Galarian Weezing staying on the field. But one last attack will be able to come out as the Galar squad with Platinum is going to preserve the Dragapult, knowing it could potentially die. And it is also going to preserve the Galarian Weezing. Moonblast is going to come out into the Galarian Slowbro slot, doing a lot of damage considering that it is a neutral hit. And this is a very bulky Mon, but that is not going to be enough damage to really be able to do anything of consequence. This Galar squad has played its matchup really well. It appears that this Kalos squad has met its match in the semifinals of this Regional King. It appears that Galar is on the final leg of being able to punch its ticket into the championship round. All it has to do is get past this Sylveon, and it has successfully gotten past this Sylveon using the Trick Room speed order to Galar's advantage to outspeed the Sylveon with a Slowbro as it throws on a little celebratory dance next to the Heat Wave going off, getting a little bit extra chip into this Klefki that is not known for doing a lot of damage. It's just known for staying around and supporting and occasionally throwing out some chips like it's a Super Bowl party. This Kalos squad is going to have to fight an uphill battle to stay in this tournament. I cannot speak well today. It has been a long day. Kalos is also having a long day, it appears to be so, as we are 20 plus minutes into the semi-final matchup. Is Kalos going to be sent home packing with bags, I bid you adieu style? Or is it somehow going to be able to stay and we're going to force a game 3? Drain Punch is going to go out to get a little bit of extra heals on this Slowbro, bringing it back into the green. Sludge Bomb is going to go into the Galarian Weezing slot. I've probably said that wrong the entire match. I don't know. Dazzling Gleam is going to get just a little tiny bit more chip, but not enough chip. Not enough damage output is coming out from this Kalos squad. The speed order has now been reversed. This match is very slow. But it is very slow because both of these squads have a lot of defensive potential and have a lot of staying power. And this is just trading blows back and forth until one team falters. As this Galarian Slowbro is going to be the only one taking attacks. Sludge Bomb into the protected Galarian Weezing. This Galarian squad has a lot of staying power. Earthquake is going to come out from this Galarian Slowbro, taking out the Klefki. This Klefki can no longer support the Kalos squad, and a decent bit of chip damage into Goodra, I might add. Now Kalos is really on its back legs. Can this Malamar do enough? This Malamar, for this exact moment, is not going to be able to get contrary boosts because the Galarian Weezing is on the field. This Galarian Weezing, if you did not know, I should have mentioned, has been turning off the abilities of everybody this entire match. Quick Claw is going to activate Shell Sidearm into the Malamar, getting more than decent chip damage into it. Knockoff is going to take out the Galarian Slowbro. Its RNG powerhouse is no more for this match, as the Quick Claw falls to the ground. Strange Stream is going to hit into the Malamar slot, doing more than decent chip damage, as a critical hit is going to land into the Galarian Weezing. Commentators note, we do not know if that crit mattered, but the neutralizing gas has now worn off. Malamar is in the clear to be able to begin getting boosts from its contrary ability. But Galar has 2 Mons it can throw out onto the field. Dragapult, that does not care about the fighting type move of Superpower, and quite frankly, neither does Grimmsnarl, because Grimmsnarl is going to actually just take neutral damage. But, as we see again, Kalos has for like the 3rd or 4th time forgotten that it has an Assault Vest on this Malamar, which does synergize really well with it, but he clearly forgot that he had Protect on this Mon. What was he thinking? Fake Out is going to prevent one more turn of boosts from the contrary, as Dragon Darts, one of the most powerful moves in all of Pokemon, being able to home in on both of these Mons, hitting them one by one, doing decent chip damage into both. Oh my gosh! A critical hit! Draco Meteor taking out the Dragapult. Again, commentators note, we do not know if that crit mattered. Kalos might be in this. Kalos might be able to move on. What is going on? Knockoff is going to go into the Grimmsnarl to knock off its item of the Light Clay. Spirit Break is going to go into the Goodra, almost taking it out. It's going to have to take a Sludge Bomb. Granted, lower special attack. That came in clutch. Reflect has worn off. Will Kalos be able to inch its way into another match? Or will Galar be able to put a pin in this battle and a pin into its invitation into the championship of Regional King Season 2? This turn shall reveal as Terra Blast comes out and does 9-0 damage. Spirit Break is going to go ahead and take out the Goodra. It is now Malamar versus Grimmsnarl. 1-on-1. Grimmsnarl has a lot of HP in comparison to this Malamar. Galar is going to be in the championship match, barring no critical hit, as no critical hit happened. Spirit Break is going to go into the Malamar slot. You wonder if this would have gone to a Game 3 if Superpower was clicked on the previous turn, but we don't know that, as Galar is going to go to the championship. Tune in to the next installment, Galar versus Hisui, in the Regional King Championship for Season 2. I am your commentator, host, and sometimes battler, Gummy, out.